Front Page for Monday, February 6th, 2023. Thanks for starting your week with us. I'm George Gerbo. Fallout from the Chinese spy balloon incident rocked the national security community through the weekend. Guy Taylor and Bill Gertz report the Navy has been retrieving the balloon's wreckage after it was shot down over the Atlantic Ocean near Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. With uncertainty about the next move, domestic politics have been biting. Democrats accuse Republicans of hypocrisy for criticizing President Biden's handling of the situation just days before he delivers the State of the Union address. Republicans upped the condemnation of the president's decision to allow the balloon to travel over several sensitive national security sites, including Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana, home to one of the military's 3 nuclear missile silo fields. The National Security Agency is courting laid-off big tech workers as it undertakes one of its largest hiring surges in the past 30 years. Ryan Lovelace reports the NSA began reaching out to technology workers privately over LinkedIn last fall as word spread that major U.S. companies were letting go of thousands of skilled employees. NSA talent management senior strategist Christine Parker said the spy agency also saw predictions of more job cuts and sprang into action. Nearly 30,000 people looked at the agency's overtures, and about 2,000 people applied. As another debt fight looms on Capitol Hill, some experts say the fretting over the size of the government's credit card is premature. Stephen Dinan reports both Republicans and Democrats seem to agree that rising debt is troubling, though they and economists struggle to figure out how high is too high. The total debt to GDP ratio stands at about 120%. It reached 135% in the first months of the COVID-19 pandemic as GDP plunged. Steady growth has brought down the figure, though the Congressional Budget Office says it will soon begin a steady march back uphill. The government's total debt at $31.5 trillion is bumping up against the current borrowing limit imposed by Congress. The Treasury Department is using other pots of money to currently pay the bills, and it will probably run out of room to do so sometime this summer. You can read all of these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. You can also find the entire lineup of Washington Times podcasts at WashingtonTimes.com/podcasts. Abortion as an electoral issue, which helped flatten a red wave in the 2022 midterms, is poised for a comeback in 2024 that will likely make it harder for Republicans to win in swing states. Democrats seized on the overturning of Roe v. Wade in June to galvanize their base, particularly female voters, and to sway independents. Susan Ferricchio reports their efforts may have prevented Republicans from securing a predicted double-digit majority in the House. Republican strategists and pollsters aren't so sure that the party's candidates can win over swing state voters 2 years later in 2024 by doubling down on campaign messages against abortion. They say conservative Republicans might support the most restrictive abortion bans, but a majority of voters do not. And finally, a North Korean defector is adding his voice to the growing push for South Korea to pursue its own nuclear weapons arsenal. Thae Yong-ho, who is now a member of the South Korean National Assembly, made the comments to Andrew Salmon and other foreign correspondents about an issue that has been gaining attention in South Korea. A January 30th poll of 1,000 adult Koreans found that 76.6% favored a domestic nuclear deterrent. That was up slightly from 70% in 2 surveys last year conducted by different pollsters in the U.S. and South Korea. Find all today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Washington Times in any major podcast app. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.